This is Barry Zalma speaking for Claim School Incorporated's blog, Zalma on Insurance. Today we're going to speak about the fact that it's almost impossible to allege a case of bad faith in the state of Montana. And when a litigant attempts to create a bad faith case in disguise, courts will not let them get away with it. And a bad faith suit by any other name is still a bad faith suit. Care Services Corp, HCSC, moved to dismiss a suit by an insured because Montana law precludes the insured king's breach of the implied covenant of good faith and fair dealing. HCSC also argued that Montana statutory law prohibited King's request for punitive damages and that the request should be stricken. In Justin King v. Care Services Corporation, the United States District Court for the District of Montana on July 15, 2024, resolved the various disputes. King, a resident of Montana, sued HCSC, a business incorporated in Illinois, for HCSC's alleged breach of contract with its insured King when HCSC denied King's claim for coverage of a back surgery. HCSC insured King under an individual health insurance policy. King requested pre-approval from HCSC for a 2-level lumbar disc arthroplasty, the surgery. HCSC denied King's pre-approval request on December 14, 2022, citing to a policy exclusion contained in the policy. King nevertheless underwent the back surgery on October 12, 2023 at a clinic in Germany and alleged that the policy provided coverage for the surgery. The court analyzed the issues based on the individual counts, starting with breach of contract. It noted that HCSC argued that King failed to allege facts sufficient to state a claim for breach of contract. HCSC contended that King failed to identify the contractual provision that would have required HCSC to cover his requested back surgery, and HCSC denied pre-approval for the surgery that King sought on the basis that the surgery was not appropriate, not medically necessary, and experimental. However, the Food and Drug Administration had approved the use of a medical device known as the ProDisc L for 2-level lumbar disc arthroplasties on April 10, 2020. The FDA concluded that the 2-level lumbar disc arthroplasty was safe and effective for King's condition, and therefore the complaint provides sufficient language for the court to draw a reasonable inference that HCSC has breached the policy contract. Looking at count 2, breach of the implied covenant of good faith and fair dealing, HCSC argued that King's claim of breach of the implied covenant of good faith and fair dealing should be dismissed because Montana law precludes the claim. King contended that HCSC misdescribed the cause of action in count 2. The USDC concluded that King's complaint presents an insurance bad faith claim in disguise. King failed to prove the distinction between the breach of the implied covenant claim and a common law bad faith claim, because basically they're the same thing. Next, the court discussed punitive damages. HCSC argued that Montana law bars King from including a request for an award of punitive damages in the complaint. King concedes Montana law bars the inclusion of punitive damages in an initial pleading. The USDC therefore concluded it must dismiss the punitive damages claim in accordance with Montana Code Section 27-1-221 However, the court also noted that King may file to amend the pleading for punitive damages after discovery begins, and therefore the court ordered that the defendant's Rule 12b-6 motion to dismiss is granted in part and denied in part. Count 2 of plaintiff's complaint is dismissed, and plaintiff's punitive damages claim is dismissed. In my opinion, it is pleasant to note that the state of Montana does not like bad faith and claims seeking punitive damages. The plaintiff, to avoid the requirements of the state law, composed its complaint to disguise its bad faith claim as a different kind of tort, breach of the covenant of good faith. That attempt failed, and the USDC limited the case to the simple breach of contract action and allowed that the plaintiff could amend his complaint to allege bad faith after discovery. So when a plaintiff has a winnable breach of contract claim, in my opinion, it should do so and give up the attempt to get rich with a bad faith suit that will be fought tooth and nails for years. This video was adapted from my blog Zelma on insurance, which is available free to anyone who clicks on the URL zelma.com/blog. You can subscribe to the blog and you'll receive notice of every blog posting, usually 5, sometimes 6 a week, and you'll have access to the more than 4,800 blog postings, digests of insurance law decisions. Please tell your friends and colleagues about this blog and the videos so that they too can subscribe. And if you're interested in further detail about insurance, insurance claims, insurance law, and insurance fraud, please consider subscribing for a very small fee to my Substack publication. Thank you for your attention.